Hey Virgos, it's Sahara Stars with Illum Astrology doing your July 2018 astro weather forecast. I hope you guys are doing awesome. July is going to be a very big month. There is a lot going on. Oh my goodness. Whew. Okay, so let's just get started. Mars is currently retrograde. That's the big thing because Mars doesn't turn retrograde but every 2 years. And Mars in retrograde motion to me is the art of war. Mars in direct motion is how we act, our action, our physical action, our vitality, our courage. Mars is the warrior planet. And whatever sign your Mars is in will tell you how you go about getting what it is that you want. Mars retrograde is about strategic planning rather than just directly rushing towards what you want or our instinctive way of going about getting what we want. When Mars is retrograde, we are much more introspective and we think things through much clearer. Mars retrograde is the best for planning. So what I do recommend, Virgos, is that whatever goals you want to achieve in your life, I want you to think about those right now. Because while Mars is retrograde, you're going to see things in a much more pragmatic way. Now, you Virgos already are like that. You guys are very analytical. You're very sharp-witted, very intelligent, ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication and the mind. But Mars is really, really helpful because it's going to help you think things through clearer and make very strategic plans. So whatever it is that you want to achieve right now, you'll find that things will be coming faster to you. Your mind's going to be working a little bit faster, on overdrive almost, but you're going to be able to make some really solid plans. When we don't make plans and we just kind of go with the whim of things, or we come up with an idea and we take the action, that's beneficial too. Mars is one of the most important planets when it comes to manifestation because Mars is all about courage, believing you can do it, and just taking action. And when you do that, a lot gets done. But sometimes we make the wrong action. We push through too fast. We didn't plan it out. We just go for it. And sometimes that can backfire on us. With Mars retrograde, it's very good, like I said, for strategic planning, for writing down a plan. I want to obtain this. In order to get this, what do I have to do? And then you just write down your plan as far as what you want to do. And then when Mars turns direct, I assure you, you will achieve that goal. Because then you will be inspired with the courage, the energy, and the confidence to follow through on it. So Mars is retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, which is in your guys' sixth house of health, fitness, wellness, co-workers, along with refinement, clearing out the clutter, organization. The sixth house is your guys' house. You guys can be perfectionists, you notice the details, you pay attention to details, very analytical. Mars there is really good for paying attention to the details, for really organizing things, for really setting up a plan, for reviewing how you've been doing things up until now and making a better plan to do things more efficiently and more effectively. Sometimes with Mars retrograde, it shows us that sometimes we don't have to work hard, we have to work smart. And that's another thing you guys are very good at. So Mars retrograde here is going to be very good for you guys. And when he turns direct, when he gets back all the way into Capricorn, and then he's going to go direct on August 27th, you'll be able to put all those new ideas and all those plans into action, and you're going to accomplish a lot. Okay? Now, the other big news is Jupiter is finally going direct. Thank goodness. Jupiter is the planet of luck and abundance and fortune, and you don't really have to do much to reap the rewards from Jupiter. Unlike how Saturn makes you work really hard for everything you got and sets up all these blockages and restrictions and boundaries and makes us believe we have limitations. So Saturn is one of the planets that we really need to psychologically overcome because we are limited within our belief systems. If we don't believe we can do it, then we most certainly can't. And Saturn has a way of making us doubt ourselves, feel like we're in restraints. Jupiter is the complete opposite. Jupiter is all about if you believe it, you can achieve it. If you go for it, think positive, be positive, And the reason why he helps us with our belief system and believing in ourselves is because he simply gives us stuff, makes us feel lucky, makes us feel fortunate, kicks us up to that higher level of vibration. So when Jupiter moves direct, we're going to feel that again. While he was retrograde, it's all about reviewing. It's slowing down the benefits. It's not so much giving out, but more about, you creating your own luck, you going inside and, analyzing instant manifestation and the power of positive thinking and all that stuff. And now you're going to be able to really put it into effect on the 10th when Jupiter goes direct. And for you guys, that's going to be in your third house of communication, technology, transportation, local neighborhood, siblings, all of that stuff. So you're going to pick up a lot in terms of paperwork, communicating, driving even, probably driving around town, getting around town. The third house is the house of Mercury, which is also your ruler. It's all about communications, the mind, technology. So you guys can be increasing your technology, buying more efficient, effective technology. Some of you might be buying a new car. Some of you might be buying your first car. Some of you might be, just improving technology. Now, some of you might be driving a lot more due to work, communicating a lot more. It's a very social time. Jupiter in the third house of the mind and communication. It's expanding that area. So it's all about talking, writing, proposing, contracts, negotiations, all that stuff. So there's a lot of benefits to be had. If you work for yourself and you're in the computer business or technology business or car business or transportation business, then business will definitely start increasing on the 10th and thereafter. The other big news is on the 12th. There's a new moon in the sign of Cancer, but this new moon is special because it's including a partial solar eclipse. And this partial solar eclipse is going to be opposite Pluto, the planet of power, destruction, but also unveiling hidden things, secrets, exposing truths, but also personal power. So it all depends on what you got going on in the rest of your chart. Everybody has their planets at different degrees, so I can't say specifically for each individual person without having your birth time and doing your own personal reading. But this partial solar eclipse and this new moon is all about an ending and beginning. But not only that, a ton of energy, new fresh energy is going to come into that particular area. So for you guys, this new moon and partial solar eclipse is going to be happening in your 11th house of friends, social groups, networking, along with hopes and wishes. Hopes, wishes, dreams coming true, all that stuff. The 11th house of groups, the people, humanity, everything that has to do with even being a part of a group, joining a group. So this new moon, some of you can, if you've been evaluating your friendships and you find out there's some friends that really aren't really your friends, you might eliminate a friend or a friend might eliminate you. It's possible because it's ending and beginning. This is a new moon and an eclipse. So we're talking about endings and beginnings, but some of you might actually exit out of a group you've been affiliated with, an association of some type, maybe a particular philanthropic group you've been a part of. Some of you might decide to join that. Some of you might start expanding your friendship groups, networking groups. Also, because there's going to be a lot of energy and a lot of focus in there, you guys will be spending a lot more time socializing with friends. I see a lot of that happening for you guys because you have Jupiter in your third house of communication, driving around, transportation, local neighborhood, computers, technology, all the Mercury stuff. And then you also have this eclipse and new moon happening in your 11th house of friends and groups, anything that has to do with people at large, being involved in teams and stuff like that, that's going to kick up a lot. So there's going to be a lot of activity in terms of socializing, communication, building your friendship groups, all of that stuff. Now, Saturn has been retrograde, turned retrograde on April 17th. And it's going to go direct. It's not going to go direct until September 6th, but it's been retrograde in your 5th house of creative self-expression, love, romance, and children. So Saturn is always about restrictions, blockages, hard work. So he tests the house that he transit. He wants to test its strength, and he wants you to focus on what really matters. He's the ruler of the 10th house of prestige, legacy, fame, career. So in order to achieve that, you have to be approved by other people. You have to do the right thing. You have to earn your reputation. So Saturn is all about refining that area. So some of you can be more particular in your love relationships. Not that Virgos aren't already. but you can find yourself being a lot more particular. Some of you can take on, feel blocked from relationships because Saturn is restrictions, boundaries, and blockages. He makes you take them much more seriously. Some of you can get involved with an older partner. Some of you might actually experience feelings of more serious tone to your self-expression, because Saturn is about seriousness, and he rules over older people, maturity. He is about restrictions, blockages, and boundaries, but also about refinement, pickiness, criticalness. So in your 5th house of creative self-expression, love, romance, and children, some of you guys are going to be going through a major transformation in that area. Now, he can test, like I said, the house. So some of you that have children, maybe you have to deal with issues with your children, or difficulties with your children. That house is going to be tested. Also, some of you might get into relationships that feel burdensome. Some of you might actually get into a long-term committed relationship that's very serious and great. It all depends on what you have going on within your chart, but Saturn is all about refining that house, perfecting that house, making you take responsibility for that house. But he does have a very serious feeling to him. So for those of you into creative arts, or trying to find creativity, or trying to be more expressive, or that were more expressive in the past, you might be feeling a bit more serious with Saturn's transit there. But there is a lot going on in your communication and friendship houses, so I'm sure that that's going to help balance out a lot of the energy that's going on there. Now, the new moon that's occurring on the 12th at 7:47 p.m. that I was talking about earlier, and the partial solar eclipse in opposite Pluto, on that same day, there's a highly beneficial grand trine that's going to occur between Saturn, Uranus, and Venus. So this day is going to be really, really special. There's going to be a lot of change and a lot of transformation and a lot of new energy coming in. This whole year has just been transformational for all of us. And since we're in retrograde season, and then we're also entering eclipse season, just expect the rest of this year to really start bringing in new energy. And a lot of us have been really wanting this new energy. But on the 12th, the grand trine between Saturn, Uranus, and Venus, Venus is going to be in your sign, actually, come the 9th. And that's going to be in your 1st house, making you feel great, attract, look good, bring you more diplomacy and attraction. It's an attraction magnet when Venus is in your sign for all things, for money, for love, for looking good, for feeling good, for everything like that, for wanting physical pleasure, for getting massages, for beautifying, for doing all these things while Venus is in your sign. So that's going to be really exciting. On the 9th, Venus is going to move into Virgo in your sign. But on the 12th, the grand trine with Saturn, Uranus, and Venus is going to be part of your 1st house. Okay, so this is going to be really awesome. Now, Saturn's in your 5th house of love, and Uranus is in your guys's 9th house of higher learning, expansion, philosophy, belief systems, hope, travel, all this stuff about exploring the metaphysical sciences and politics and whatever, just learning. So Uranus going in there is you guys are going to learn a lot of stuff. Uranus is all about trying the opposite path of whatever it is you've been doing in the past. And Uranus rules over technology in the future and all that stuff, and is about, non-judgmental and keeping an open mind and trying things differently. So this is very exciting. But as part of this grand trine with your 9th house, some of you could travel. Some of you could actually get a sudden inspiration on the 12th with this grand trine. Sudden inspiration, idea, something that's going to be highly beneficial for you. Because it is involving your house of creativity and your 9th house of expansion, and then your own physical body too. Overall, it's just going to be a very lucky, fortunate day to really do whatever it is that you want to do or accomplish on the 12th. Now, it is a new moon and there is an eclipse, so it is going to be a kind of interesting energy. A lot of things are going to start coming. You're going to start getting contact from people that maybe you haven't heard from, or maybe that you are waiting for, or just new stuff is going to start coming in on the 12th. Actually, beginning with Jupiter turning direct on the 10th, because that's just always positive. That just feels good. So when Jupiter turns direct, that's going to be awesome. Then the 12th on, all the way through the 24th is going to be really positive for you guys, the 12th through the 24th, okay? Because after this new moon, grand trine, all the stuff that's positive coming to you guys, Venus is going to be in your sign come the 9th, okay? So this is positive for everything you want. In terms of those of you that are single, wanting to get in a relationship, those of you that are in a relationship, you can get into a serious commitment. You're going to be treated well by all, favored. It's a good time to ask for what you want, whether it's in your job, whether it's from a friend, whatever it is. You got Venus with you. And on the 11th, Venus is in Virgo is going to trine Uranus in your 9th house in Taurus. Again, a very fortunate day for going, actually with Uranus in Taurus, it's good for all of you that are in school. You guys might choose to go through a different subject. Some of you might choose to go back to school, learn something new, something innovative, technology-wise, anything like that. A lot of you might decide that you want to learn something new. Those of you that are in college or in school, it should be a fun time for you. You're going to be very innovative in your ideas. But on the 11th, Venus trine Taurus, there is just an excellent optimistic day to pretty much get whatever you want, because Venus will be in your sign and the trine aspect is lucky, and Uranus brings in sudden, unexpected good news, especially with the trine and Venus. So look for some good news on that day. Also on the 14th, Venus in Virgo is going to trine Saturn and Capricorn in your house of love, and Venus will be in your first house. So those of you that are in a relationship, that's a really good day to make a commitment. Saturn is all about tradition, commitment, seriousness, all that stuff. Venus in Virgo is in your sign, trine Capricorn. That's a fortunate day too for money, for going to ask for money, for anything you want. The 11th, the 14th, and then the 22nd, Venus in Virgo is going to sextile Jupiter, and this is awesome. Venus and Jupiter are both abundant planets that just give luck and fortune, and then it's in a sextile, which is a very fortunate aspect also. Okay, so these are awesome days for you guys to, it's going to be an awesome month for you guys with Venus through your sign after the 9th. Then Jupiter moving direct. Wow. Things are going to start really improving for you guys. If you've been having any difficulty, those of you looking for love, now is the hottest time for a love transit once Venus moves into your sign. Those of you already in a relationship, it's going to be really good for your relationship as well. Some of you will be getting serious, getting more committed. A lot of stuff like that is with Saturn, definitely in your 5th house of love and romance. So the only day that maybe you might be a little more accepting of things that you normally wouldn't be is probably the 24th, when Venus in Virgo is opposite Neptune in Pisces, just because we tend to idealize more. We're more accepting. We drop our boundaries. So just be careful about making any real serious decisions on that day. But otherwise, everything looks fantastic for you guys. And the 27th is going to be a good day for money as well. Love, everything. Venus in Virgo is going to trine Pluto and Capricorn. Awesome, powerful, passionate aspect. Really good times can be had on that day as well. Now, the only thing that we got coming up that outside of the new moon and the partial solar eclipse, like I said, there's a lot going on, and Jupiter's direct motion, we're going to have Mercury, your ruling planet, turn retrograde, like I said, on the 26th. So that's when technological errors and stuff like that can occur. But because for you guys, it's going to be in your 12th house of the hidden subconscious mind, dream world, hidden enemies even, okay? It's hospitals, institutions, sanctuaries, seclusion. It's all your subconscious mind. So Mercury there can be a little weird. It can just be a little weird. It'd be hard to focus, hard to be detail-oriented. You might be a little bit fantastical, which is always good, optimistic, positive, dreamy. But you can kind of feel confused at times because you have no boundaries in this house. This house is all Neptune's water house. You can feel emotional. You can feel like you're reminiscing. Sometimes just, thinking of the past, going through the past, because it's also the house of endings. So Mercury retrograde there can be a little bit weird. You can feel a little bit confused at times. Your dreams might be very amplified, colorful. It's very good for creative self-expression, creativity of all sorts. Your mind is going to be in the world of no boundaries and limitlessness, but it's also the house of the subconscious where all kinds of things exist there. So you can become aware of some things about yourself as well. And you can learn about some hidden talents of yourself whenever planets transit there. Because you guys just had Venus transiting there, which can be a time of seclusion, feeling like you want to spend more time alone, quiet romance, spiritual endeavors, stuff like that. But on the 9th, that's over with. You're going to be back on track with Venus in your sign, feeling really good. And then Mercury is transiting through your 12th house, which, like I said, can be hard to focus, a little daydreamy sometimes. But that's really the most of it. And then it's going to turn retrograde on the 26th. And just Mercury retrograde can be a little confusing at the first beginning of it. It's kind of like in 3 phases: the first phase, second phase, third phase, and then direct motion. The first phase and the last phase can be probably the more confusing, and then you'll have that middle phase where you'll be feeling pretty good about it and clearer, at least a bit clearer. So the month looks really good for you guys. Venus is going to be in your sign. You guys are going to be the star of the show. This eclipse, and there's a major lunar eclipse also that's going to happen on the 27th in Aquarius. And you guys have Mars retrograding. Well, Mars is retrograding there for everyone. But it's in your 6th house of health, fitness, wellness, work associates, and all that stuff. So having a lunar eclipse there is definitely going to bring a lot of new energy into the workplace, into your health and fitness, into your diet area. Make sure you take care of your health. Make sure you go to get your checkups and all that stuff. Not that anything's going to happen. It's just that that's what that focus is about. So a lot of you are going to be changing your diet, taking on a new work regime. If you haven't been already, you're feeling it now because you got Mars there, and then the lunar eclipse on the 27th happening there. So there's a big focus on that. But eclipses in general bring in new energy. They're ending of old cycles, and new energy and new cycles begin. So it's going to be a really exciting month. The best part of it for me is Jupiter direct, yay. But then you're going to have Venus in your sign all month. So this is awesome. I'm so happy to deliver this message to you. If you guys found this helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment. Don't be shy. I'd love to hear from you guys about how it's going. And make sure to listen to your ascendant sign as well, because both houses will be affected. Sometimes people find their ascendant sign transits are more powerful than their sun sign transits and vice versa, but both houses will be affected equally. So it's important that you always listen to your ascendant sign and your sun sign for the general readings. If you would like a personal astrology reading of any type, I specialize in relationship readings to personal forecasts. I'm also a life coach using astrology to help people amplify in the planetary energies. You can check out my website at www.illumastrology.com. I always would look forward to helping you. And thanks so much for listening. And I wish you guys an awesome July 2018. And I'll see you next in August.